Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for being here today. We're here to talk about Christopher Santana, who's the victim of a homicide on December 2nd, 2024 in the area of 730 George Street. Chris was the 12th homicide victim of the year in 2024 and passed away at the age of 25. Chris was not an individual that was well known to law enforcement or out there creating problems. He was a resident of New Haven at the time of his death and a member of this community. The suspect responsible for Chris's murder, Thaddeus Lowry, age 17, is now safely in custody and awaiting trial, thanks to the combined efforts of Lieutenant Gardner, Sergeant Plakaitis, Lead Detective Jeremy Cordero, and members of our plainclothes and SWAT team. The criminal case against Lowry has been transferred to adult court, and he remains in custody on a $2 million bond. The charges are murder, felony murder, and carrying a pistol without a permit. I would like to emphasize that this was phenomenal detective work done by Lead Detective Cordero, who worked tirelessly on this case alongside our partners from the New Haven State's Attorney's Office. I'd like to specifically thank State's Attorney Doyle, Inspector Master Petrie, and the team over there. We appreciate all the guidance and support during this investigation. Thank you for all your help. I'd also like to thank Mayor Elicker, who's behind us from day one on all of this. Thank you, Mayor. I'd also like to thank our partners, YARD, CTVIP, and the clergy for also supporting us throughout this investigation. And lastly, for the approximate last 20 months or so, Chris's mother, Lisa, and I have been in direct communication over this investigation. And Lisa, I'd like to just thank you for your patience on this investigation, for your support, and just offer you our heartfelt condolences. So sorry for your loss. And with that, I'm going to pass it to Assistant Chief Bagtana to brief the details of this case. Thank you, everyone. Chief.
Thanks, Chief. Good afternoon, everyone. Maneet Bagtana, Assistant Chief, Investigative Services Division. We're here today to provide an update on a 2024 homicide investigation of Christopher Santana. But before I go into details, I'd like to take a moment to express my deepest condolences to the family of Christopher. We can tell that he was deeply adored and loved. And I can tell you that this arrest announcement won't bring him back, but hope it brings you some peace and closer to justice. Thank you. So I'll go into the details. On December 2nd, 2024, at approximately 3:24 p.m., New Haven Police Department Communications Center received a 911 call from an individual reporting that there was a shooting victim located in a car parked behind 730 George Street. Patrol officers were dispatched to 730 George Street, and they located Christopher Santana, DOB 10/6/1999, in the driver's seat of a vehicle suffering from a gunshot wound. Patrol officers secured the crime scene while awaiting the arrival of medical personnel. New Haven Fire Department, along with AMR, arrived on scene and transported Christopher to Yale New Haven Hospital. Unfortunately, Christopher was pronounced deceased shortly after. Major crimes detectives spoke with community members, served multiple search warrants, reviewed video surveillance, and developed the suspect identified as Thaddeus Lowry Jr., date of birth 12/13/18, of New Haven. An arrest warrant for Lowry was signed for the charges of murder, felony murder, and carrying a pistol without a permit. Lowry was taken into custody at a residence in New Haven last Wednesday on August 13th with assistance from our Criminal Intelligence Unit and the SWAT team. Lowry, at the time of murder, was a juvenile. His case has been transferred to adult court, and he is currently being held on a $2 million bond. I'd like to commend the lead detective, Detective Cordero, for his diligence and persistence throughout this investigation. He continued to follow up on leads and move this case forward under the guidance of his supervisors, Sergeant John Plakaitis and Lieutenant Derek Gardner. Our detectives remain committed to this investigation, and this arrest reflects their dedication to seeking justice for the victim and his family. I'd also like to thank the State's Attorney's Office that are here today, and also especially Chief Zanelli for his continued commitment to holding those responsible for violence accountable, and Mayor Elicker for his ongoing support of the New Haven Police Department and the important work our officers and detectives do every day. With that, I'll take questions before I pass it on to the Mayor.
Can you speak at all on any motive in this case?
So from the investigation, it appears that it was a robbery.
Do you know if the suspect knew the victim?
It is unknown at this time, but it was a pre-arranged meeting.
And as far as the other person who was at the scene, were they the one who called 911?
At this time, I can't give you that information.
Can you speak to why an arrest was made, I guess, almost 2 years after this took place? Why, is there any kind of late breaking?
Sure. So we had a significant amount of physical evidence that we had collected from the scene, which was sent up for lab processing, and it took some time to get that evidence back. And also, we had some community members that we needed to locate and speak with, so it took a little bit of time to get that in order.
Do police anticipate making any other arrests in this case, or just Mr. Lyon?
At this time, Mr. Lowry is the one that's in custody.
Now, when you mentioned lab processing, are you speaking about DNA?
Yes, so we have DNA and, of course, ballistic evidence that was collected from the scene that had to be processed.
Thank you. And as far as the robbery, are you able to share if he was actually robbed of something?
I can't say that for sure.
And just to go a little bit more into detail, so it was, I saw in the press releases it mentioned at Santana, there was 2 people in masks that came up to them. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Can you elaborate on your question that you want to?
Yeah, so in the press release, it kind of talked about how they were approached by 2 men.
Correct.
That were wearing masks. Are you
Correct.
able to talk a little bit more about that situation?
So that's when we believed it appeared to be a robbery, when they came up to Mr. Santana and then robbed him. Any other questions?
No charges pursuant to the other person?
Not at this time.
And is it correct to say he was 15 at the time?
He was just a few weeks shy of being 16.
Okay, thank you. Did the arrest take place without incident?
Without incident, no issues. I'll pass it on to the mayor. Sir?
Nice job, Detective Cordero and the members of the New Haven Police Department. Thank you for your collaboration to the folks at the State's Attorney's Office. Lisa, we've talked many times, and I know these things take longer than any of us would like. Thank you for your patience and your persistence. We care about Chris, and we care about you, and we followed through on our commitment to identify the person that took his life, and we'll continue to stand by you. Christopher was a 25-year-old member of our community. He was born and raised in New Haven, graduated from Eli Whitney Technical School. He's loved by his family. He loved his family. He had a dog named Joker. And he leaves behind his 2 brothers, his parents, grandparents, many other family members and friends who love him. Obviously a loving mom, aunt, who Melissa, who's going to speak on behalf of the family in just a few moments. And you can see by the pictures, he's just a beautiful, beautiful young man that has whole rest of his life ahead of him. I am sure it's not lost on anyone that a 15-year-old took his life. At the time, he was 15 years old. We continue to do everything we can to help young people make the right decisions. We have programs in the city to help young people. We often talk about put down the guns, get away from the guns. You don't need a gun, and we are here in any way possible to help, but we will also hold you accountable if you pick up a gun and take someone's life. And you can see by the family here that when you take someone's life, you destroy your own life. Thaddeus will most certainly be serving a significant sentence, but you also destroy the lives of so many other people who loved Christopher. I appreciate the family being here to put a real face to the loss that we're experiencing as a city with victims to gun violence. We'll continue to make progress, but we still have a lot more work to do. And if you want to say a few words, Christopher's aunt, Melissa.
Good afternoon. Today, I stand here with mixed emotion, but definitely with a broken heart and a pain that words cannot fully describe. Christopher was not just a name or a case. He was my nephew, a son, a brother, a grandchild, a family member, and someone who was deeply loved. His life matters. His family loved him, and his loss left and emptiness that can never truly be filled. Since Christopher was taken from us, our family had to live with a pain that we never asked for and can never undo. We wake up every day knowing that he will never come home, never make another memory with us, and he will never have the opportunity to live the life he deserved. What happened to Christopher has affected our entire family. Our family lived 619 agonizing days in the dark, waiting for that phone call and praying for the justice that finally arrived today. We are here today because Christopher deserved justice. We understand that the legal process must take its course, and we respect the court and everyone involved in making sure my nephew's case is handled properly. I also want to take a moment to thank the detective, police officer, investigators, and the entire police department of New Haven who have worked on my nephew's case. Thank you for your dedication, your time, your hard work, and thank you for not giving up. As a family, knowing that people were working to find answers and hold those responsible accountable has meant more to us than words can express. I know nothing can bring my nephew back. No sentence can erase the pain of losing him. But accountability matters, justice matters, and Christopher Santana's life matters. Behind this case is a real human being in a grieving family. He had people who care about him, people who will carry his memory for the rest of their lives. We ask that everyone involved in this case remember the person at the center of it all, Christopher Santana, and the family who has been left behind to live with this loss. We will continue to speak his name. We will continue to remember him, and we will continue to seek justice. Thank you to everyone who has stood beside our family during this painful journey, and to those who worked tireless to seek answers for my nephew, Christopher. May Christopher rest in peace, and may his memory live on forever. Christopher will never be forgotten. Extraño tu sonrisa, tu voz. No sabes qué tan grande es mi anhelo de poder verte de nuevo. Me hace falta tu presencia. Love you, Gordo. Titi te amará por siempre.
Any other family members like to speak? Just want to say that, there's nothing the New Haven Police Department and any of our partners will do to help somebody who's in need up front, but after you commit a crime of violence, you will be held accountable. There's nothing we won't do before that happens, but if you decide to pick up a gun and commit a crime of violence, you will be held accountable in the city. Any other questions?
I'm sorry, I have one more question.
Yes, ma'am.
The 15-year-old, who was 15 years old at the time, did he have a previous criminal record? Was he on the police's radar?
We were aware of him. I'm just not completely sure of his record entirely because of his age. And it's important to note that although Mr. Lowry is the only one that's been charged with this incident, a lot of times we target people that we think were either on scene to put charges on them, to help them get information for this respective investigation, right? We do that all the time. So although somebody might not be charged with this respectively, that doesn't mean that the investigation ends and that we don't try to hold everybody accountable that had a role in this. So just because one arrest has been made, that doesn't mean the case is entirely closed at this time.
I could just add, our Youth and Recreation Department was aware of him and tried to work with him unsuccessfully.